This weather has not been cooperating with my chinking plans. As soon as we get one project started, it starts raining. We've got a, I don't know, a small window, I guess you could say, where I can get out here and get some stuff mixed. I'm gonna work on the inside today. Try to anyway. I've got to get some stuff cleaned up, put some plastic down, some tarps or something to keep from getting this mess all over the floor, and drag everything inside. See if I can, nothing else, I can just work on that wall, the one we did the outside of. So I guess that's what I'm going to work on today, since we have about 10 more days of rain. There's not much else I can do besides get in here and work on it. Get the lights turned on where I can see something. Still don't have power hooked up to the house yet. I still have an extension cord running to the breaker box, but I'm not using that much power. Weather's just been too nasty. So I'm gonna get over here and try to get all this mess pulled back out of the way, start chinking this wall. See if I can make a little progress today. Okay, before I get started, I want to go over a question that I've been getting ever since I started on the chinking process. Why am I not using a metal lath on between the logs to hold the concrete and the chinking? Well, there's several reasons why. The main reason why is, in my application, it's the odds of it lasting or holding up long term are not very good. There's some houses that you can do that on. I'm using a large diameter, really long southern yellow pine log. These average diameters are probably anywhere from 18 to 20 inches, and they're 55 feet long. The shrinkage is what gets you. If you put the lath on the top and the bottom, then you put your cement chinking on top of it, as the logs shrink, they're going to pull that lath in two different directions, which is going to crack and crumble the cement. If it was a synthetic chinking, it worked great. It just, for what I'm doing, it just won't work. I've had some people try to point out some other log cabin builds that's where they're using it, and it's for what the trees that they're using, the logs are using, they have less shrinkage than I do. The outsider up in, I think he's in British Columbia, he's in Canada somewhere, he's using eastern white cedar. He's using a metal lath, you know, just expanded metal he's putting in there. He doesn't have the shrinkage that I do. Plus his logs are a lot shorter. You could probably put two of those houses in this living room. These are just some really long logs. So the shrinkage is what you have to worry about. Besides the shrinkage, if it would work, you know, this is faster. Where it would take me 30 to 40 minutes to run lath down, you know, just in one gap, I can put a row of nails down in probably a minute and a half. 90 seconds, 2 minutes tops, and the whole row is done. You can't do that with the other. Nails are cheaper. I get a box of nails of 3,000 for $45. So it takes about $45 worth of that stuff to do the one whole wall. It's cheaper all the way around. This is not something I made up. This is something and people build houses like these all over the country. There's probably 30 or 40 going up right now using the exact same method. So this is not mine. This has been done this way for years and years. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. It works. It's been proven to work. When you put your nails and your chinking is attached to one log versus both, as the logs shrink, you'll get a tiny little gap at the very top of your chink line on the bottom side of your upper log. After your first year that you're in your house, you heat it, you cool it, you know, the logs are going to shrink some. I don't care how dry your logs are, they're going to shrink. So when that happens, you come back into your first summer, you can come back and use a synthetic caulking of the same color. You can just, whatever you want to use. If you want to use, it makes a slurry of grout, use a grout bag and just walk down through there, and just, because it's a little tiny thin line that it's going to be there, and you just fill it right back up. You can put whatever you want in there, and it goes fast. But that way, as the house shrinks, it doesn't crack your chinking all to pieces. Synthetic chinking, you wouldn't have to worry about that. It sticks to both sides, it stretches, it moves with the house, but it also traps moisture behind it. If you're gonna get moisture and rain on your logs, that's one point. You're gonna have a rainstorm that's gonna blow sideways. don't care if you have 20-foot overhangs, they're going to get wet eventually. You want that water to be able to get out. And if it gets behind the log and it gets behind that chinking, it's going to stay there, and it could cause rot problems. I just don't want to deal with it. The mortar will breathe. You get moisture behind there, the sun gets on it, it breathes, it gets warm, the moisture goes away, it keeps your logs nice and dry. Yes, this takes a lot more time. If this was synthetic chinking, the house would probably be finished already. But this is cheaper. This is a little more labor intensive, but doing it myself. So I'm not on a timeline. This is not I don't have a construction loan that I have to, keep up with deadlines on. This is do it as I get it done. So I wanted to clear that up because I'm having a lot of people asking, why am I not using a synthetic chinking or the mesh, or why am I doing it the way that I'm doing it? Well, there you go. That's why I'm doing it. It's just it's an easy, proven method that works. So I'm going to stick with it. Much easier to do. You can stand up. All right, small emergency. Addison's got one of her baby chicks has wry neck, so we had to stop, go get some medicine for her chicken. So we got it doctored up. She's in there taking care of it now. I'm gonna get back to work. There we go. Okay, got all this put up. I do have the spots behind the stairs that I have to do, but I have to do that from below, so I'll have to go underneath and do that. Now comes the hard part, leaving it alone. It's still really, really soft. Get up here. You can see, get really close. See, I can move it with my finger. So it's way too soft to mess with. You need to let it set up a little bit, let it firm up. I know it looks messy because there's stuff hanging everywhere. That stuff will just wipe right off. But let it set up, then you can come back with your trowel and hit your top edge and it'll push everything back in there. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's really elastic right now. So when you push it in there, it's not stiff enough for the weight. Though there's too much weight, it pulls it back down. I know it sounds confusing, but as it stiffens up, you can push it in there and it'll stay standing up. And it'll fill all the cracks in. Let it sit for another 45 minutes to an hour, and then you come back and just kind of lightly back brush it, or do whatever it is you want to do, whatever finish you want. This over here, you can see, is already done. This is where I started, and this is hard. So just a little bit of cleanup over there, and to wipe down the logs, and a little bit of vinegar and water, and the little gray streaks and stuff on the logs just wipes right off. So we'll get this done, and I think that's all I'm going to be able to get done today. Still nursing a sick chicken, but it's getting better. But she's worried about her chicken. So that's it. I'm gonna let this sit for a few minutes, and then I'll come back and back brush it, and we'll see what it looks like. Now that this has set up a little bit, if I can get in here, you can see where I have a crack right there. You can just come along, put a little firm pressure on it. And now it will stand up. And there isn't any more crack. And that's it. That's all there is to it. All right, well, there it is. This part is finished. I can start working my way on up. Tomorrow, they've changed the weather. It's supposed to be a little bit better. So we're gonna try to get outside and do some working on the outside. Then the crappy weather comes back on the inside. We'll be jumping back and forth for a while, just to try to stay busy. I'd like to get this all closed in before too long. We get this done, then we can go ahead and start putting in doors and windows. Once we get the doors and windows in, finish up a few outside things, and yeah, then it's time to start doing finishing work, building cabinets, and getting the plumbing hooked up, and AC, and all the fun stuff. But that's it for this one. I think I'm going to wrap this one up. Everything is back brushed that I've got put up. It's all fairly dry now. I mean, it's still, you could dig it out if you wanted to, but it's pretty dry. So that's it. We'll be back on the next one, working on the outside.